Thank you. The president of Columbia University now facing bipartisan calls to resign over her handling of anti-Semitic protests on campus. Democrat Senator John Fetterman saying, quote, these protests are anti-Semitic, unconscionable, and dangerous. Add some tiki torches, and it's Charlottesville for these Jewish students. To Columbia President Minouche Shafik, do your job or resign so Columbia can find someone who will. Congresswoman Claudia Tenney is one of 10 New York Republican lawmakers that signed a letter calling for Shafik to step down, and she joins me now. Congresswoman, great to be with you. Despite Shafik's words, let's face it, these protests are escalating. So why do you, and many Democratic lawmakers as well, feel that Shafik has reached the point of no return?
Well, obviously, she's not able to contain these people, Todd. It's really tragic for these students. It's unsafe, and it violates Title VI of the Education Act, which requires a safe environment for learning and which could be contingent on them continuing to receive federal funds. Columbia, now you're in, I believe you're in Yale. I can't see the camera, but I believe you're at Yale. We had this all Yale. Started with Cornell University Cornell University professor saying that it was exhilarating and exciting after the horrific, brutal attacks on Hamas with the raping of children, burning children alive and families. And I immediately called for the expulsion of this professor. I wrote to the Cornell University president, and then you've seen what's transpired since then. Obviously the Education Committee under Virginia Fox and the great work by Elise Stefanik. This letter was led by Elise Stefanik, who is the conference chair of the Republican Party. I'm glad to see there's some Democrats joining in. Unfortunately, the words of my colleague Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are disturbing. These are dangerous protests, and they put Jewish students at risk. And it's particularly bad when you consider that we started the Passover season yesterday, and this is a holy time for Jewish people. And I almost think it's deliberate. At this point, if this president can't maintain the peace, she has to be eliminated, or she has to be fired. And, these students have to be expelled. These faculty have to be fired. And we have to consider whether or not this board can take control of what's happening. And I give credit also to Mayor Adams for at least getting the police in there, the NYPD. But you're seeing a situation that is escalating because of money that is coming to these people. It is my firm belief these are not these are not grassroots. They're funded by outside groups, right, likely through 501c3s, through Hamas.
There's definitely some funding here. And from the president of Columbia to the president of the United States, here's Joe Biden's take on the protests that we've seen. Listen.
Do you condemn the anti-Semitic protests on college campuses?
I condemn the anti-Semitic protests. That's why I've set up a program to deal with that. I also condemn those who don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians.
Should the Columbia University president resign?
I didn't know that. I'll have to find out
should she
more.
resign?
You have many people calling this Joe Biden's Charlottesville moment. I listen to an answer like that, and to me, Congresswoman, it's clear why there's no sort of sense of right and wrong in this country when it comes to this issue, because the president of the United States is wishy-washy on it. Your thoughts?
Look, the president is not telling the truth. He is worried about getting reelected. This ceasefire, anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic movement is largely because of one district in Michigan, which could cost him the entire election. It's pure politics. It's diabolical that this president can't stand up and support Israel, support our Jewish students, and bring clarity to this issue. And as you said, Todd, correctly, this is a moral clarity moment for Joe Biden, and he has failed. He has failed on this issue. He has failed to support students under siege by a terrorist enemy. And this is just sad for our country, but it's also dangerous. As you can see, all of these students and their families, many are suffering through this terrible period. And we have to stand behind our Jewish friends and also against this anti-Semitism, something the Biden administration is not doing.
Yeah, let's face it. If you have the word president in your title, you should be unequivocal when it comes to this issue. Yet, when you hear the president of Columbia and the president of the United States, they are not. And that's the reason I think we're in the situation we're in. Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, thank you for your moral clarity on this issue. We appreciate it.